Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, he is never short on an opinion on anything, and this instance is no different as well. Fani-Kayode, of course, is who I'm talking about, the twin brother of Reno Omokri. Guys, I bring you this. For the first time in our history, we have a Fulani president and a Fulani chief of staff. Fani-Kayode reacts to Gambari's appointment as President Buhari's chief of staff. So that's the long-winded headline that we're contending with on this video. So the headline again, for the first time in our history, we have a Fulani president and a Fulani chief of staff. Fani-Kayode reacts to Gambari's appointment as President Buhari's chief of staff. So now let's now see now what motto mouth Femi has to say. President Buhari officially unveiled renowned diplomat Professor Ibrahim Gambari as his new chief of staff today, May 13. Femi Fani-Kayode, former aviation minister, is however not pleased at the appointment and has shared his thoughts in an article he titled "Enter the President's New Chief of Staff." Fani-Kayode, who is a hard critic of the Buhari administration, says this is the first time in Nigeria's history that we will be having a Fulani president and a Fulani chief of staff. Gambari replaces Abakari, who died in April. Read Fani-Kayode's article below. So now let's now go to Femi's own words. So these are direct words now from Femi, and here it goes. 200 years ago, the Are Kakanfo of the ancient Oyo Empire and self-proclaimed Oba of Ilorin, Are Afoja, rebelled against the Alaafin of Oyo and entered into a military alliance with a Fulani advisor, sorcerer, and mercenary by the name of Alimi. Predictably, Alimi betrayed him and he ended up being tortured, dethroned, and murdered. Not only did Alimi and his Fulani warriors kill him, but they also murdered all his sons in the most cruel and barbaric fashion. Alimi and his family took the thrones for themselves, and consequently the Oyo Empire, and by extension the Oduduwa nation, lost Ilorin to the Fulani and to the sons of Usman Danfodio. Ever since that day, a Fulani emir from the Alimi Gambari family and lineage, armed with a flag and staff of authority from the Sultan of Sokoto, have ruled Ilorin. There is no gainsaying the fact that the Gambaris are trusted servants and bonded slaves of the Sokoto Caliphate. They see themselves as the guardians, protectors, and defenders of the Caliphate's southern borders, and they serve and protect its traditions, its faith, and its political and economic interest. This has been the case for the last 200 years. It is for this reason that they are often referred to by the sons and daughters of Oduduwa as Mesu Jamba, meaning shifty, unreliable, and treacherous. To add to that, the saying goes, beware of the Gambaris and the descendants of Alimi. Enter Professor Ibrahim Agbola Gambari, Buhari's new chief of staff and Nigeria's former representative to the United Nations. Contrary to the popular belief and despite his second name, Agbola, this man is not, and that "not" is in capital letters, so this man is not a son of the Southwest or an Oduduwa, but a Fulani prince from the royal house of Ilorin. He is a descendant of Alimi. He is a Gambari, and to cap it all, his brother Emir Ibrahim Kolapo Sulu Gambari is the present Emir of Ilorin. His forefathers stole our sacred Oduduwa lands, took our throne, carved up and divided our empire, enslaved our people, and have persecuted our leaders in Ilorin for the last 200 years, denying them of their most basic liberties and rights. And worst of all, they have done this with the full blessing and support of the Sokoto Caliphate and the Sultan of Sokoto. With the appointment of Gambari as President Buhari's chief of staff. For the first time in our history, we have a Fulani president and a Fulani chief of staff, both serving a Fulani government with a Fulani agenda. This has never happened before, and very soon the results will be self-evident. To make matters worse, Gambari is himself a hardliner, and he was Buhari's foreign minister in 1984 when the latter was military head of state. He served a tyrant and a dictator before, and is serving a tyrant and a dictator again. And he served not just any tyrant and dictator, but Nigeria's greatest military tyrant and dictator, and now he is set to serve Nigeria's greatest civilian tyrant and dictator. Unlike his predecessor in office, the late Abba Kyari, who was a Shuwa Arab, Gambari is a Fulani. His only interest throughout his distinguished career as a career diplomat was to do nothing but further and protect the interest and hegemonic agenda of the caliphate in Nigeria, and to justify and rationalize its greed, brutality, barbarity, and excesses before the civilized worlds in various fora. Now he has come to establish and entrench Buhari's Fulanization agenda. We welcome him and we will engage him in battle. Abba Kyari has gone. A hardline fundamentalist and a Fulani irredentist has now taken over his job. Nigerians will see the difference. For those of us that have been in the struggle to liberate our people from the tyranny of Buhari for the last 5 years, it is game on and back to the trenches. The ceasefire is over, and the war against ethnic and religious bondage and against injustice, subjugation, domination, nepotism, servitude, and slavery has started again. May the best man win. So, of course, you can tell from the tone and accent of the piece that that is Fani-Kayode's language. This is a man that would never use 10 words when he can use 100. This is a man that likes the sound of his own voice, and this is a man that likes to bloviate and pontificate and preen and peacock. So preen and peacock he is doing, but then of course if you look beyond the frippery, you can look to the substance of it. There is an element of concern in what this guy is saying, because it resonates now with the future direction of the country. Because this Gambari guy, he was the guy that was supporting Abacha during Kensaro-Wiwa saga. He was the one that supported the annulment of June 12, etc., etc., and he was a key functionary in the Abacha regime. One, the most, not even one of, I was going to say one of the, but really the most repressive regime that this country has ever had, because this regime is worse in terms of lack of capacity, because even Abacha is cleverer than Malam Buhari, but Malam Buhari is just I'm not going to call him brainless, but is the lowest IQ president and the lowest in terms of certificate or some sort of like learning that Nigeria has ever experienced. So I'm not going to call him dumb, but you can if you want to. So even Abacha is a slight grade above Buhari in terms of capacity, but in terms of cruelty, there's nobody that can supersede Abacha. And this Gambari fella, this Ibrahim Gambari, Buhari's now new chief of staff, was one of the key components of the Abacha regime, and he's the one, because he can speak English and the rest of them cannot, so he's the one that they sent to the United Nations to go and argue for all of the atrocities that they are committing, and try and put it under the banner of sovereignty, that we're a sovereign nation and you cannot interfere with us because we're Africans and whatever, blah, you know. So he goes and does all that for Abacha, so he's now coming back again. So at least Abba Kyari, a little bit civilized but still cruel, but this guy, he is civilized too but more cruel. So this is the position now that Fani-Kayode is indicating and highlighting and flashing up to the public space, that look, the dark clouds are gathering and the foreboding times are coming, and the drumbeats of the herdsmen are echoing in the distance. So this is the alarm now that Fani-Kayode is alerting. But what says you? What is your reading? Come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns grey. Bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Then come tell me now what you are making of this now full malamification of the Nigerian key sports by Malam Buhari and his acolytes in the comment section. So come share thoughts about this with me. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace.